CD does cover bad puns, just a good Andy's speech this morning was a specialty speech, and from the advanced series, and it is actually a very difficult speech, because what he is doing is speaking in praise of someone, which is a difficult task when you think about it. If you were someone to ask your opinion of someone that you admired a lot, you would say something like, oh, I really admire that person, I really like them. But to say, all right, now tell me for 5 to 7 minutes about this person, it's really hard to get away from the, I really like that person, he really impresses me, he's a really cool guy, it's really hard to give a pirouette or an elegant speech about that individual. So from that aspect, it's a very challenging speech. There were some aspects of the speech I really enjoyed. I think you really got my attention in the very beginning, talking about his history. And I don't know Mark Merrow, and I don't follow professional wrestling, I really don't. But you really captured the interest, my interest in the very beginning, talking about how he lost everything. Unfortunately, I was like looking for what the events that kind of led up to that, because I think the events sometimes have the big impact on what made him change as an individual. I think he kind of left us hanging just a little bit on that particular aspect, but he sounds like a fascinating individual. The things he's doing with Champion of Choices and his charity and his work, and obviously he's kind of pulled you into his life as well, and he's had a great influence on you, and vice versa, he probably has an influence on some of the things he's doing. You'd mentioned that you had offered also to give him advice, which was another bit of information I really thought, well, this is going to be interesting, and then you kind of let it drop. You said it, and then didn't hear any more about it. But from that aspect, there are 2 things in the speech I really want to hear more about, but perhaps the time limits didn't allow you to go really into a lot of detail on that. Your speech style was very reserved. You were very quiet. Almost to the point that people almost had to lean in to hear. And again, not knowing Mark, I actually in the beginning thought that perhaps he had passed away. She did actually use past tense when you spoke with him on a couple of occasions, so I thought, oh, this is a tribute to someone who had died, but I later found out in fact that wasn't the case. I think when you speak about a person, especially one that has a professional wrestling background, and I know when I see these people on television, they're performers, and they're very much about this kind of larger than life. They got this big audience and they're in a big arena and they're getting the audience fired up. So I think when you talk about that person, maybe you need to almost take on a little bit of the persona of the wrestler. He's wrestling kids in, he's pulling in, and there's some energy that goes with that. Otherwise, the speech was almost perfect in the form that you had given, and I really appreciate the aspects of what you had said and how you reinforced that your impression of this individual and what he's brought in your life and what meaning he's given to others. I thought it was a great speech. I look forward to hearing more. Thank you very much.